Welcome everyone to round 28 of the tournament. As anyone who followed in the last game, I can confirm that Jimo Abdulmumin has won ScrabbleMania 3.0, but even at that, there is still sport prizes left to be clinched by other players, and Tachi Charles here is competing against Owolabi Lukeman, most likely for the second position with the three games left to go. And quickly, Charles playing Daubing, the first bingo of the game, the first move from Charles, and is off to a great start. Joining me in the commentary booth, I have Coin Sola Lasaki here with me.
Wonderful to be back for round 28, and also congratulations to Jimo Abdul Mumin. All right, we have Tachi Charles and Owolabi Lukman on stream, just like you said, but I can't quite see Lukman's rack right now, so I think we'll wait for that to be
Uh,
fixed.
we'll have that fixed in a bit. Let's take a quick look at the standings, and all things being equal, I believe Charles is topping the standings as at round 27. Oh, sorry, it's Olabi Lukman with 18 wins and 9 losses, and then right after him is Tachie Charles with 17 wins, 10 losses. So just one win difference there. But Cyril from Nigeria is also locking in there with 17 wins also. And we have Wesley Jonathan, the Liberian, with 16 wins. I believe this would be the top contenders right now for the second place. Also on stream, I have Okweoluwa Omotayo joining us too.
Hi guys, great to be back.
Okay, still waiting on Lookman Styles to be fixed, but we'll have that sorted shortly.
All right, we can't quite see his rack just yet, but we see him going in for foam. Yeah, foam scores 26, and from the rack of FOETCIC we see 4 come down for 19. Current scores should be Charles's 95 to Owolabi Lukman's 26. Still waiting for them to fix Lukman's rack. All right, the technical team should be on it. The cam is not properly placed, so as soon as they fix that, we will be able to see his rack clearly. Right, this is round 28, and we already have a winner, Jimo Abdul Mumin. The rack cam has been fixed, and we see BLOGED and the first blank on of the game on his rack. It doesn't quite have a playable bingo on this board at this time, but it could do big for 22. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think Playing Berg right now is a solid option. You could play Berg or Bed in the same spot, just bid it full for 22 points, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, back there for 22 points seems pretty standard. Keeping ODL fine. Charles started with the bingo, but there's no need to be all panicky about that. So Beg scoring well and retaining good tiles seems like the move, but the same going for something completely different.
Yeah, looks like he's opting for bugged. That will leave him with L blank. Maybe he's looking to go for mortals instead.
Yeah, I think that might be his rationale behind that move. Playing Bugs, leaving L blank, open to pick. Okay, I think he's yet to commit, and he's picking that up back. Okay, now he set aside Beg. He's probably thinking to play that just beneath the spots that we thought he was going to go for initially. So we might be seeing Beg come down, and yeah, it has been committed. Beg it is for Owolabi.
Yeah, I think something Bog would have done for him is leave this spot open for a seven-letter bingo there and also floated the D out in space in case he could bingo through that. But Beg instead keeps things pretty tight and it's quite reasonable why he's going for that.
Well, it's Tachie's turn with TICWERT, and he might just play underneath the bag. Maybe something like wet for 27 and T-wheat for 28, but it looks like he's doing wort instead for 29.
Yeah, I think it's opting for words. Okay, you already committed that, scoring I think 2 points more and leaving out C CIT, I believe. And now it's back to Owolabi, and I'm saying WH. Okay, he's wasting no time. I think he's going for HOGH instead, leaving WDL. What do you guys think about that move? Do you think that's his best choice for that turn?
Yeah, it's something that seems pretty reasonable, similar to what Bogged would have done in the last. And I think you're seeing a challenge here, so that's going to be 5 extra points for Lukman playing HOGH there. And as I was saying, this move, just like before, now allows a bingo in two more spots on the board. One here. Oops, sorry about that. One, let's see Charles turn the board 360. Anyways, a bingo can fit here and here now. So I guess that's the rationale behind that move.
Yes, that's probably what he was thinking. Looks like each player has one blank. Tachi with one and Owolabi Lukeman with another one. And TACITY blank is the rack for him. He has a bingo through the MI, a nine-letter atomicity. Uh Not quite sure if he would spot that. He has city set aside, so maybe he's looking for something that actually ends with city. Maybe he's looking at that MI spot as well. But yeah, that's the only um playable bingo for him on this board right now. Other options would be to maybe just drop the Y, playing doggy Dogey for 20. Hoping to maybe pick one of the many E's outside. Yes.
To be honest, I like when I see the blanks being distributed evenly between the two players. I like to call that division of blanks. And right now, just like you rightfully said, it could play atomicity, and in fact, it would be very beautiful to see because it's not only a bingo; it's a nine-letter. And at some point, he did set aside CITY, maybe hoping to play something from his rack because spotting that from that MI, I'm not gonna lie, it's something that is very obscure. But if he's able to pull that through, it will be very beautiful to see on this turn.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm sure atomicity is a word that Charles know, but it's not something easy to spot. And the fact that you have to make your blank and O. The thing is, if he had the O as a style, maybe just maybe he could spot the move. But the fact that you have to run through the alphabet rather from A to Z and have to see that okay, it's only O you can use to bingo a nine letter will make it really difficult. So I think if you were to miss that, maybe as you guys have said, just playing the Y here is something you might think of, or maybe TAY here is a move too. And I think that's okay, we are saying CAY instead.
Interesting, actually. Deciding to keep two T's. CAY scores 26, 4 points more than TAY.
Yeah, interesting choice indeed. But looking at Lukeman's rack, we should or we might be seeing a bingo here because I do see a couple of his rack. I think I see Swindle, and that fits perfectly just beside K with his S hooking the OY. And aside that, I think the top choice would be to play Wedelns, I believe Wedelns. That scores a whooping 89 points. And I think that is in fact what we are seeing here on stream. He's yet to designate, and yeah, now he's done that.
I think that was a lovely find from Owolabi there. Wedelns is the top choice, scoring 89 points, and that would take him into the lead at 161 for him to Charles's 150. But as we can see, with the blank on Charles's rack, he might have a bingo reply, or at least be looking to bingo very, very soon.
Interestingly, on Charles's rack alongside the blank AOITTE, the playable bingos he has on this turn, all of them except one would open, you expose a triple triple lane. The only one that would not be exposing the triple triple lane is through the MI, where you could have played at Atomicity. Diatomites, that scores 61, but the highest scoring bingo would open, a triple triple. He has options like Tetanoid, Taconite, Intonate, all these open the triple triple lane. So do you guys think it would be, looking to take that risk? I mean, the first blank is already played. So
I feel like if he's able to spot diatomites, I mean, it does score, I think, just 4 points less than the highest scoring bingo it could go for. Yeah, and I think playing safe right now and just going for diatomites is the best because imagine if he's hit with a niner just after playing the 61 points, so it won't be looking good for Tachi. So I think playing diatomite, if he's able to spot it, would be a safe option right now.
But I mean, it's easier said than done. That Atomite is not an easy find. Atomicity find might be something he might see, but that Atomite is not the average day-to-day word. But still, this is Tachi Charles, a very impressive player from Ghana, and who knows, he might sport that. But regardless, he has no TTIE through the N in Daubin or other options, but we see him going for DOIT rather.
Wow.
I mean, that says 15. Maybe he, obviously doesn't want to take that risk of opening the triple. I mean, words like tetanoid, intonate, and the likes, that I had would not, pass him by. It would be easy for him to have spotted it, but maybe he's looking to score, I mean, higher than 60, maybe something in the 70s or in the 80s with, the bingo. Maybe that's the reason why I decided not to do that. And looking over to Lukman's side, we see him with just two consonants, that's two N's, and five vowels, E-E-U-I-O.
Honestly, I think you could just do EU. I would say if you could do EUOI, but that leaves the double N. So if he's hoping to like play one of those, at least maybe you could play Union through the end of well dance. Let us score less, scoring just 10 points, but it leaves EEN. What do you guys think you should do here?
Yeah, there are no easy plays here. No matter what he does, it seems to either give back too much to his opponent or not leave the best of tiles. So, looking through at the options, we could start with EUI would play down here, I believe, but it would leave ENN, which is not something you want to keep. If you play Union here, it exposes the O there for a yeah, maybe like a Z bomb or something. So you're seeing going for EUI through the E in Wedelms. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, leaving NENE.
I mean, maybe it's just instinct that his opponents might bingo to the T, and so he decided to take that spot out. And looking at Tachie's rack, it would the highest scoring play for him would be 70 points. Iteration through the IO of Doit and EUI. Um, that's the highest you can score. Although there's RTS through the S of Weddons for 60. Other than iteration, the rest for 60 or less.
I really do think Lukman's rationale behind playing EUOI at that spot is because he's actually trying to probably block that spot. But interestingly, with what Charles is having, even at that spot, he could play there. He could play tie tritate, I believe, tritiate. Yeah, tritiate is the word, or tritiated on that same spot. That is a nine letter, I believe. But the longest, the highest scoring bingo is what you just said, which is iteration. So I'm very curious to see what Charles makes of this turn.
It's interesting to see how this game and this board is forcing Charles to find nine-letter words as his optimal plays. We saw that atomicity earlier on would have been the move for him, and then later on, diatomite would have been the most defensive play if he had spotted it. And now, yet again, iteration, the nine-letter word he has to find to score 70 points in this turn. Maybe, just maybe, this is a wake up call for Charles to start studying more nines after this tournament.
Indeed, indeed. Looks like he's not able to spot arts here, so inspiration. He's opting for artists instead. That scores 58, which is, not a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, he does play the bingo. He could spot, and back to Lukman with Anuleeen. All right. I think he could play Une, Ulnae, just right above artist through the end of Windows, I believe, for 20 points. Other than that, I think other options I see are below 20, and maybe through the A of artists coming down to the triple lane. He could play AUNE. That does score significantly less for just 12 points. Wonder what he does here.
Yeah, AUNE it would be something I personally would be leaning to because if that were to come down, then you're opening up the board a bit more. At least now you have the N and the E floats for yourself. So looking at the other places on the board right now, it would be really difficult for Lukman to either score well or bingo because it's looking pretty choked up. And can I just pitch this while I can to Vespa, since we have the Vespa chairman here, that it's about time that we add a beg to the dictionary because that would really come in clutch in this game.
Do you know the thing? I actually thought of when I saw that beg come down, I thought of a beg. A beg was what came to my mind, but I just had to let it go.
I really think they need to consider that too. Please, I beg.
All right, I think One is coming down top choice here, 20 points, leaving E and N. Wasting no time, I think Charles is going for Gilly, and yeah, Gilly scores 30 points, and immediately it's back to Lukman.
Yeah, in that turn, he had moves like RG available for him, which would leave LIE, which seems pretty reasonable. But the downside is you're giving back too much to your opponents. The E floats, um, Lookman can easily cash in on that. And the best thing about this move is AE does not take any back hook. So this side of the board is completely closed off right now for any bingo.
Yes, I mean the board it looks pretty conditioned to me at this point. Oof, it's going to be a really tough one, and the scores are still pretty close: 253 for Charles and 192 for Lukman. And Lukman is in a bit of a sticky situation with just one vowel: CPNNGS, and the only vowel E. Not a lot of options for him. Maybe just doing spec, to the S of artist for 21, or peg for 19, to try to open up the board a little bit. But yeah, it's not a lot of options for him.
Yeah, I think if he's actually trying to open up right now, considering the scoreline, he could play Peck. PEC just with the C hooking the HAW right above the board and keeping its S and in hopes to maybe pick favorably the next round, next turn, and possibly bingo and come back into the game. Other than that, I think playing spec beneath the board doesn't really do much for him.
Personally, I would be leaning towards PEC because that would set up your S for spec, which would fit here. But we see him just going for cab instead, which I guess is the same idea, setting up S for scab.
I think at this point, he just has to take his chances. But then again, it's very risky to an extent, especially because there are more than hold on. Revolt is on Tachie's rack, and I mean Scab just got open. So that's 78 point. Do you think would be missing that? Do you think he would be missing that?
Then I really do not expect to see Kaba come down instead. Okay, I think definitely this is more like it. Now we would be seeing revolts come down. This must be a very huge blow on Owolabi's face, considering he did open up that spot hoping he could use it to come back in the game. And immediately we see Tachi cashing in on that and playing revolt for 78 points. Wow.
Yeah, that must be a crusher for Lukeman, especially with the fact that he can't reply back with a bingo of his own. You can see him shaking his head there. I think he's a player who sort of telegraphs what he's thinking or the tasks he might have, and I'm sure he feels pretty pumped about that move.
For a minute there, Charles almost missed the bingo. I mean, if he had just put the ER there and, if he had tapped the time, I think he would have figured out that he missed it. But as soon as he saw it, we could see um, the quickness to play the move. I thought that he was going to miss that and we would not be seeing it come down.
Definitely, definitely. I was scared for a minute that we were saying Kaba, and immediately he spotted it. He went for it. All right, I see. Lukman goes for Pengo instead. I believe he's trying to open up this board as much as he can. Just to um save himself if he still can in turns to come. Now it's back to Charles with Minatiq. What options do we have here for him?
I mean, right now, he would be looking to dump the Q, and maybe QIN seems pretty standard, just playing it here, and that would obstruct the nine timer through the R. But we see him going for, okay, I think he wants to play Team Pani, which would be understandable, but I'm not sure if that is okay. It is valid. That would retain the Q, and there is still one U in the bag, and I think that would be an interesting choice because it knocks out both triple triple.
I mean, he has gone for Trank. Trank scores 45, and I think 45 is a lot to pass on. So, he has been able to take out the R. And as for the P, the P is not the easiest letter to play a triple triple through, especially since both blanks have been used.
Yeah, definitely. I really wonder what's going through Lukman's mind right now. It's looking like all hope might be lost. And looking at his rack, I'm seeing DONSDRP.
He
If he's
had
trying
the
to,
X and he has dropped down the X here for 52 points, I think, or 50 points rather. So I'm sure he was happy to see
okay,
that opening for himself, and it's back to Charles now.
okay, okay.
And now looks like Charles would be conditioning the P, taking out that P. Hasn't quite made up his mind yet, but there's the option of playing Roupy, Roupy, or something a little bit different. Looks like he's opting for Yorp.
If he's opting for Europe, he does score 27, I believe. And okay, he's committed that already. Now it's back to Owolabi. It's PRODDNS.
Yeah, and I like
If he's
his decision here, playing PAEDO. As you can see, that would open up the O as a floater, and even the D here is a floater. So I think that's a really nice choice, considering the fact that the E on top of the board is still open.
We see Tachi going for DIUM. VIR, of course, that's not valid, and we would be seeing a challenge of that.
That was quite an interesting tone. I wasn't expecting to see that, but this is Scrabble and anything can happen. I believe that has been challenged off board.
Yeah, the
Why do you
word
guys
is Diumviri. Oh, sorry, Duumviri is the valid word there, or Duumvir. So I understand that that might be a bit confusing, and maybe that's why I thought that was valid, but you're saying that's rightfully challenged off.
All right, SSIINDR. Maybe Lukman would be looking to play out one of the essays, although it would not score more than 20 to 22 points. If he does I reads, that scores 22, although he opens, the triple lane. But if he does reads, he scores 20. I'm not sure if he would want to keep both essays. Maybe he would be looking to dispose one of the two essays. Or what do you think?
Yeah, I think at this point, and it could be thinking to play either iReads, like you said. It could be watchful about it could also play Brian's RINDS, the same sports. I think they both scored the same. I think right now any of his move might contain one of the S's he's having.
You know, with the phony that Charles played, Lukeman has nearly complete information on what he would be picking after this move. But we see him going for a phony, playing Sordinis. I am sure this is not valid. I would be saying a challenge here. Sordini is valid, but there is no Sordinis.
Wow.
Wow, two phones played back to back. It was Charles first with Diomvir and now Saldini's, which would obviously be, challenged off and has been challenged off.
To be honest, I think that was just a try just to see if he could get back into the game because I didn't really see that coming. To be honest, I know of Sordini and I did know it didn't take an S, and seeing that being tried was quite interesting to see. So now with the same rack of with Tachi and to be honest, I'm curious to see what he makes of it. But he could play Murk, I believe, Murk, and with the K hooking HAWK, and I think that scores about 34. Although he does leave IIV. What do you guys think he should do here if he doesn't play Murk?
And I was noting the other time that Lookman with the phony that Charles played would have had an idea of what is in the bag. But now it is Charles now who can tell the exact six tiles left in the bag because he knows that Lookman just played SS, II, NR, and the D, I believe. So he knows that there's AAEK NZ left in the bag for him to pick after this turn. So this is something that Lookman could have used in for himself in the last turn, knowing that Charles played out six tiles and then he would simply cross that out and know that oh this would be the tiles left in the bag. So a costly try from Lookman there, although it's understandable why you would want to play the bingo thinking you're reducing as much cumulative as you can. But I think a better assessment of that turn could have been made.
Yes, indeed. And after that phony, it would, I mean, seeing that he has both S's, Charles would be looking to, take out that spot. I mean, he could do DIVI right there to prevent bingos ending with, OR coming down later on, or take out the N up there, maybe putting the VIA, they're playing Vina, that's kind of takes care of that spot. But now, Tachi has enough information to know what's in the bag and what to do.
Yeah, we see him did opt for div instead, div, and it's back to Lukeman with the same rack of DIINRSS. Now, I don't really see much of a choice or options for him to get back into this game, talk more of winning. But if he's able to block, okay, I don't even see any options of him doing that. But he could play DIS, just the S hooking HAW. That does score just 14 points, leaving INRS. Now I'm getting a hint that this could, the chances of him winning with this move is just 2%. Other than that, any other thing he plays has zero chances of him winning.
Yeah, with 4 tiles left in the bag, he has to make sure he's not emptying the bag and try and scheme for perhaps an out bingo. But with this deficit, it would probably not matter. So we see him taking his time. He knows that the cumulative in every game matters. So he knows this might be a loss for him, but he would try to reduce the deficit as much as he possibly can. But we can see him setting aside ID and maybe still hoping that he could bingo through the E in Pengu, or maybe open up something else for himself. But maybe, just maybe, there are scenarios where he could end with an ION bingo through the O in Paydo or something. But let's see what happens.
Alrighty, arrange DI right underneath Glee. I mean, the tiles left in the bag, ZANK, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think any bingos can come out of that. So, regardless of whatever it plays now, I think it's really safe to say that Charles would definitely be winning this game.
Yeah, we could say that, considering the condition of the board, what it's having, and it's not really looking like it is Lukman's game at this point, and I wonder what must be going through his mind right now.
Yeah, but I think I just have to say it has been a couple of horrendous draws for Lukman, because after the move WEDELNS here, we've seen him struggle and struggle. He only could play words like EUI after play on a E here, and ever since he has been struggling with either too many vowels or too many consonants, and it's a tough game, but he just has to make up his mind on what to play, and we can see him going for DI.
Well, he has made that move and he has just 56 seconds left on his clock. Wow. Must be really draining for him. I can't even lie. 56 seconds has to finish the game, or he would, run into a time, he would have time deficit after. UARAMIE for Charles. I mean, Charles just has to see this game through. It's definitely a win for him. Maybe doing UVEA, or for 21. I see him arrange Rim on the board.
I think he's having second thoughts. He's going for RIEM. instead. I think, irrespective of whatever he plays right now, it's safe to say this is Charles' game, and not wasting no time. I see Lukman coming in with rings.
Yeah, I think that was the reasoning behind the DI move earlier. I thought he was scheming for a bingo, but it seems he was eyeing the opening to the triple there to score over 40 points, which he just did, and I think that was pretty interesting to see from him there.
Pretty interesting. Obviously, he's very much aware that he has the last two essays, and yes, at least they would be able to reduce the, spread and take a score.
Yeah, definitely. I see. Charles did pick the Z at the last